Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What's going on out there, peeps? All right, a lot of people requesting information about the Vietnam Dong. Well, what do you think is going to happen? They're paying attention to what's going on around the world, including in Saudi Arabia, as well as in Russia. They are anticipating a huge drop in the US dollar. So let's go ahead and get into this, shall we? Before we get started, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, head on over to our friends at Miles Franklin. The link will be down below in the description. When you make your purchase, make sure you use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and they'll take care of you. If you have any additional questions, you can reach us over here at this phone number or over here at this particular email. For all orders over $10,000, reach out by email and we'll make sure that you get a great deal. So come on over to Miles Franklin and add to your precious metal inventory. Oh yes, let me just say something. If people overseas are predicting the depreciation of the US dollar, then you should be buying gold and silver, because it's the only thing that keeps its purchasing power. I've done several examples of this and showed you guys back in 1932 how many ounces of gold it takes to buy a house. Without adding or decreasing the number of ounces, you could buy a house today. So don't get caught up in the BS. Make sure you protect yourself. Make sure you're buying gold and silver. It says early U.S. recognition of market economy and increasing opportunities for Vietnam exports. I think countries all around the world are zeroing in on Vietnam, realizing the potential there. They are like the new version of China without all the BS. Their currency is so depreciated, the labor market is unbelievable. So the U.S. recognition of the market economy in Vietnam will help expand business opportunities for Vietnamese enterprises and pave the way for Vietnamese exports to this market, according to the experts. A lot of people keep asking me, hey, Pimpy, what do you think about the Vietnam Dong increasing in value? Yeah, again, it's the same thing like anything else. There's always a possibility. But you shouldn't be focusing so much on the Vietnam Dong as much as you should be focusing on the dollar. The fact that Moscow has now suspended trading on their exchanges in US dollars and euros is a pretty big hit. But not as big of a hit as the fact that Saudi Arabia would not sign a new contract with us, guaranteeing that all oil trades will be done in US dollars. Because of this is going to be a huge hit, you guys, to the US dollar. Our way of living is going to change like you've never believed. We're going to become like a Venezuela and El Salvador, a really poor country. And I know a lot of you out there going, no, that's never going to happen, Pimpy. Yeah, okay, watch when it does happen. If you're in gold and silver, you're protecting yourself and you're preparing for this. Anything else, you're going to get your ass kicked. The U.S.'s recognition of the market economy in Vietnam will help expand business opportunities for Vietnamese enterprises and pave the way for Vietnamese export to this market, according to experts. In early May of 2024, the U.S. Department of Commerce held a hearing on the recognition of Vietnam's market economy. Vietnam has made efforts for a long time to meet 6 criteria for the U.S. to recognize its market economy status, including conducting economic reforms to meet the criteria prescribed by the U.S., including currency convertibility, salary and wage negotiations between employees and employers, level of foreign investment and economic activities, and issues related to state and private ownership. According to the assessments of many international analysis, Vietnam has demonstrated its performance in accordance with the above criteria as good or often better than other countries that have been granted the market economy status. Vietnam also intervenes less in state-owned enterprises than India and is more open to foreign investment than Indonesia, Canada, and the Philippines. While we've been seeing this kind of movement and growth since the Trump administration back in 2016. We reported about this. Don't get me wrong, they were always on the uprise, but they have really taken off, especially once Trump started bumping heads with China and the trade war. So, about the Vietnam Dong directly, well, here you go. Vietnam Dong, likely to strengthen later in 2024, the economist said. The Vietnamese dong, the local currency, is anticipated to strengthen later this year against the U.S. dollar, reducing its depreciation as low as 3.5 and 4% this year from 5% currently, an economist Lok said. Speaking at a Vietnam Wealth Advisor Summit in 2024 themed Adapting to the Uncertainties in Hanoi on Thursday, Lok said pressures on the VND have waned as the USD has been on the decline globally. The US dollar index, which measures the dollar strength, has gained 3.4% so far this year because the Feds have delayed cutting rates and the U.S. economy has shown a better than expected performance. However, the DXY has decreased over the past 2 weeks. Lok, who is the chief economist in Hanoi-based BIDV, elaborated. Furthermore, the interbank overnight interest rate on the VND has climbed and hit 5% per annum, close to that of the USD loans of 5.25 and 5.5%. This means that the interest rate gap has reduced, relieving pressures on the US versus the Vietnam Dong exchange rate. Echoing Lok, I'm not kidding, this is how you pronounce his name, it's Phuoc, right here, okay? I'm not kidding, look it up, Phuoc, okay? Former acting chairman of the National Financial Supervisory Commission forecasted that the US dollar versus the Vietnam Dong rate not to surpass 26,000 Vietnam Dongs for every $1 US dollar this year. Yikes. And somehow, some way, they continue to rebuild in that country. So when you hear somebody tell you that, hey, in one country, you cannot move forward and rebuild with huge projects with an exchange rate of 1,320 of your currencies for $1 US dollar, just say to them, oh yeah, look at Vietnam, who has 26,000 of their currencies for every $1 US dollar. And they continue to move forward. Vietcombank quoted the greenback at 25,183 to 25,453 a dollar for bids and asked respectively on Friday, flat from Thursday, while the central bank kept its central references at 24,241 Vietnam Dong for every $1 US dollar. That is so crazy to say. The Fed may cut rates next month depending on the upcoming presidential election in November. Phuoc commented, adding that markets are betting the DXY will fall to below 100 from 104 now. Oh no, they want to kill the dollar. There's no doubt about it. And I'm talking about political parties within our own country. He forecasted that the DXY, which is the US dollar, will continue falling until 2027. Let me repeat that. He is forecasting that the US dollar is going to continue falling in value until 2027. I cannot think of a better demonstration of why you should be into gold and silver than what this gentleman is saying here. They are anticipating the collapse of the dollar and that it will continue to fall in purchasing power until 2027. Trading in the range of 95,105, the Fed's federal fund rates will likely decrease 2.75% to 3% in the coming 3 years, thus easing pressure on the Vietnam Dong. Phuoc commented on the State Bank of Vietnam should not have let the VND devalue up to 5% against the US dollar. The magnitude of the VND devaluation should be equal to Vietnam's consumer price index. So what does that mean? They jumped the gun and they devalued at 5% when they shouldn't have. So what should they do now? Increase it at least by 5%. He recommended that the SBV maintain low interest rates to support economic growth. The interest rate level should be kept at a CPI plus 3 or 4 percentage points. In this regard, Lok expected the State Bank of Vietnam financing rate may go flat while deposit interest rates may go up in the second half of this year. The Prime Minister has asked the SBV to work out measures to further cut lending interest rates by 1 to 2% points by cutting expenses and applying information technology. This will cause the net interest margin at banks to lower from 3.5% currently to 3% or less, Lok said. So Vietnam is already preparing for the US dollar to continue to decrease in value up until 2027. You guys let me know what you think. I look forward to hearing from you. I'm out.